welcome everyone for the 14th round of the 2011 GP4 Offline Championship. We're here for the Singapore Grand Prix at the Marina Bay Street Circuit, and I am your host for today, George Roke, and we've got a lot of news to cover before we start, so let's get on with it. First of all, let's go through the race rating and the driver of the day for Italy. So the race rating was given a 6.7 out of 10, and the driver of the day was given to Felix Sonntag, who took his best finish of the season by taking a podium in second place. Florian Volker has also got a 5-place grid penalty for this race, but now we'll go on to the team news for this race. So Xavier Quinlan decided in the week to leave Virgin after reportedly being disappointed with his performances during the season, and Bruno de Barros from GP2 will replace him for the rest of the season. Sauber have announced they will keep Rivki Farkas for 2012. Williams have confirmed Adam Wolff and Renault Moyton for Williams, and McLaren have confirmed Viggo Holst, who will replace Nicolas Gal with Evan Byrne alongside him for 2012. Some very, very interesting signings there. So it'll be notably interesting to see where Nicolas Gal goes now that we know that he will not stay at McLaren, having said at the start of the season that he was interested in a move away from McLaren after his bad luck that he has had so far in the team. So this should be an interesting Grand Prix. We are under the lights here at Singapore, the only night race of the season. 23 corners of this track. We're using the old layout, so we have the Singapore Sling on the circuit. So this should be a very, very interesting race indeed. But now we shall head over to the grid to see ahead of the race. 61 laps, so this will also be by far the longest race on the calendar. So anyway, here we go. So Joseph Willows is on pole for Ferrari with James Willows, the two Willows brothers, on the front row of the grid, with Waze Cooper in third and Evan Byrne in fourth. James Willows, who's won 3 races in a row at the moment and is on a roll. 5th place is Alex Southgate, followed by Jamie McKenzie in 6th place. A good qualifying from McKenzie in the Renault. In 7th place is Nicolas Gal, now that we know he is not going to be at McLaren for next year, with Robert Ionescu in 8th place for Toro Rosso, his best qualifying of the season. A good qualifying from the Romanian driver who's looking to get a seat at one of the higher teams for next season. Omar Carr is in 9th place, followed by Sam Thompson in 10th. A good qualifying from Sam Thompson as well, with Florian Volker a disappointing 11th, as he needs to be up the top of the results table if he wants to keep himself in with a chance of winning the title. Renault Moyton is 12th, with Lucas Levi in 13th place and Viggo Holst in 14th. Not a great qualifying from the Force India considering the season they've had, and Holst, now that he is going to McLaren for next year, needs to impress at Force India. As we know, he's already got a podium this season, so let's see if he can improve on that. Felix Sonntag is in 15th, not a great qualifying from him, with Rivki Farkas in 16th. He'll be staying at Sauber for next season. Bruno de Barros, who was in the running for the GP2 title alongside Franco Gamba, but he has decided not to go for that and go for the Virgin seat, with Roman Quagg in 18th place. 19th place is Michael Motra, followed by George Roke, a bad qualifying from him in 20th place. 21st is Adam Wolff and Jules Grant in 22nd. It should also be noted that David Greenwood, bizarrely to the GP4 Offline Championship community, decided not to take the seat, despite him being the test driver, as he said he was not particularly interested in driving for the rest of the season, which, well, people have their opinions on that, but which many have said that is a bit confusing. But anyway, the weather for this race, no surprise, will be bright, will be lovely and hot, humid, under the lights here in Marina Bay. So this should be a very fascinating race. Singapore usually does hold up a great race. So anyway, here we are on the grid. So on pole is Joseph Willows, with James Willows in 2nd place. Which one of the Willows brothers is going to get the jump into turn 1? We now have the lights on. We now have 3 lights, 4 lights, and we have 5 lights. And we're underway here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Which Willow brother is going to take the lead into the first corner? And it looks like, is it going to be Joseph Willows or James Willows? And it looks like Joe has got the lead into the first corner, and indeed he does. He takes the lead, as looks like James Willows was almost losing place, but as Waze Cooper is right behind him as they head up into through Raffles Boulevard onto the back straight as they head towards turn 5 on the track as the cars come through the corner. As Joseph Willows has got a lead at the moment, James Willows just holding off Waze Cooper. It looks like everyone has so far got through cleanly. No cars are out as of yet, but as we come through, Joseph Willows running in first, Evan Byrne is in 4th, Saki 5th, Gal 6th, Ionescu 7th. He's made a great start. Thompson goes a bit wide, goes over the curb, loses a couple of places to Volker and to Omar Carr, and there seems to be a big gap at the back as Rivki Farkas was saying, Lucas Levi was trying to make a move, and there is a car losing its wing, and that is Roman Quagg. He has lost his front wing and back wing, and so is the other Lotus of Michael Motra, the 2 Lotus drivers involved once again. What an absolute disaster it has been so far. So let's have a look what happened. So rumble with Felix Sonntag, so he was obviously involved in this. So what happened here? And you can see those Condit got hit once again by the Lotus driver. So who was it that time? I think it might have been Roman Quagg. So we'll go on board with Adam Wolff. You can see George Roke got a pretty poor start in 20th place. So was it Adam Wolff who made the contact originally? And let's have a look and see. And no, well, actually, Adam Wolff did get hit from behind by Sean Grant it was. So Sean Grant calls that, and then Roman Quagg was the one who went into the back of Felix Sonta, the Lotus driver, as well. I'm not really going to even bother making jokes about their cars being magnets, because, I mean, it's already been proven. You got your proof right here, and you've had it throughout the whole season, so both Lotus drivers have to go into the pits, and Wolf's going to have to go in the pits. I believe Sean Grant had some damage as well, George Rook, right at the back there. I don't know if Sean Grant's had any damage or not, but he's certainly been stuck behind this, so it's now Mocho and Felix Sontag right at the back of the field, but Joseph Willis still leads with his brother James right behind him as the cars come through into the hairpin. Cam Thompson 11th, there's Rowan Moyson 12th, Holston 13th, there's Levi, and there's the two Virgins, and then George Roke right behind these two, Bruno de Barros now just ahead of his teammate Sean Grant. As you can see here, Sean Grant hasn't got any damage from that crash. And let's see as the cars head into the hairpin at the end of this little straight, as they head towards the Singapore Flyer, the Singapore's version of the London Eye. So Joseph Willis has the lead at the moment. His brother James is right behind him, as Cooper is now defending from Evan Byrne behind, and Alex Southgate in 5th place as the cars head through to complete the first lap of the race. They come through the chicane for turn 21 and now through 22. As they now come round into, well, as it is now come through to turn 22, and now they come into turn 23, and Joseph Willis leads at the moment as he comes across the line to complete the first lap of 61. A very, very long race indeed. And now Evan Byrne trying to make a move on Cooper coming into turn 1. He's going to make the mistake. He's on the inside, but he can't quite do it. As Southgate there coming through in 5th place. As there's Evan Byrne running in 4th. And Ronan Moyton spun. Ronan Moyton has spun around. Coming into, it looks like at the end of the straight. And Sam Thompson spun as well. And what has happened here, so the two running behind each other, so Moyton was on the inside, and Thompson, you can see, probably forced him out a bit, and Holtz was very lucky not to collect Moyton there, so both Cindy is very fortunate to still be in the race there, but Moyton managed to still get actually in front of Thompson as he rejoined quicker than he did. But that is not what Moyton needed for next season, and Sam Thompson at the moment doesn't have a drive at Williams, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up for next season. Now here we are looking at Felix Sontag, who's trying to get past Roman Quagg. They come into the Singapore Sling, and Sontag goes a bit wide, and he's hit the wall, and Sontag's hit the wall, and he is out the race. It's been a disastrous weekend for Felix Sontag after his fantastic podium in Italy, and he is out after just 3 laps. He becomes the first retirement of the Grand Prix. That is very, very unfortunate there for Sontag, but you can see he's trying all over the back of Roman Quagg, and he went a bit wide coming through the second part of the Sling. He caught the curb, and that then dragged his car wide into the wall there. And wow, that was a bad collision there for Felix Sontag as he is out the race. So at the moment, we think that he probably, with that result in Italy, he's probably sewn up a seat in Mercedes, but we're still not entirely sure yet. And now on my car, he's done the exact same thing that Felix Sontag has done a lap later, coming through the Singapore Sling, and his car gets pushed off. So he was in a battle with Viggo Holst. So did Holst try and move in? Oh my God, Holst tried an absolute massive dive bomb there into the Singapore Sling, and it worked for him, but Carl unfortunately was not expecting that, and unfortunately went wide and did the exact same thing that Felix Sontag did there. So he is out of the race, and well, so we already have 2 cars out on 4 laps, so let's see how many will be out in the rest of the race. But anyway, here is the battle for the lead. The two Willis brothers. Joseph Willis leading at the moment. He needs to win this to stay in the title race, but his brother James has got the momentum at the moment, and Joseph Willis runs wide, and James takes the lead coming onto the straight. You can see he just went a bit wide coming into the first corner, and James Willis takes the lead from his brother Joe as they head into the first three corners of the track, as Joseph Willis loses the lead. Now Evan Byrne is going to close up right behind these two, but that was a bit of a bad mistake there from Joseph Willis. But maybe they were thinking that they could let him through, but they are still technically in the title battle. Is Joseph Willis? James Willis now certainly is with those 3 wins, but you could say Joseph Willis still is in it alongside Cooper, as long as Cooper gets a decent result. But here is the battle for 3rd place at the moment. Evan Byrne is now on the inside of Joseph Willis. Just a lap later, he's going to get passed by Willis, and he does indeed. Evan Byrne gets past Willis for 2nd place, so he's lost the lead, and now he's lost another place in just 2 laps, Joseph Willis. That's not good for what he needs if he wants to keep in the championship. Now Evan Byrne, as you can see, has already got away. Now here we are on board with, I believe this is Viggo Haas now to get past Robert Ionescu for the final point spot. Ionescu forces him out, but he's not going to be able to make it stick as Ionescu is going to go wide. It gives a chance for Jamie Kenzie to come right behind and overtake him. As now here they come through the first corner. There's a yellow flag out, and I believe, I'm not sure where that is. And Ricky Farquharson has spun right in the middle of the first corner, and he's lucky that he wasn't collected by anybody there. And let's see what happened. And he was battling with George Roke, and Farquharson just went wide there and spun. He was so lucky there was no contact from anyone else there. And so he spins, and that's just literally the worst place to spin. And Levi managed to avoid him, so does Moyton, so does Bruno de Barros and Sean Grant, and so does Sam Thompson. So very fortunate there for Farquharson that he's still in the race, but at least he'll know for sure that he'll have a seat next season, so he'll certainly be more happy than however the race is going, and is here on board with Bruno de Barros, who's running in 14th place and lap 10 of the race as he comes around the final corner. And oh, he's got a loose wheel, and he's just missed the pit entrance, and oh, how unfortunate there. And he's now going to have to go around the whole way of the track with a loose wheel, but he's surely not going to make it. And he almost crashes into the side of Thompson there, and that was just very, very unfortunate for de Barros. And now he's going to have to try and see if he can go a whole lap with a loose wheel, but that's surely not going to happen. Had to happen, I should say, at literally the worst point at the track. And now, unfortunately, it looks like he'll probably have to retire unless he can make it to the pits, but I don't think he will. It is one of the longest tracks on the calendar, so he will unfortunately have to retire. So there's a battle in front between Thompson and Sean Grant, his teammate. So he comes down the straight going at a reduced speed as they now head. As now there's a battle, as I believe that is Levi, Sean Grant, sorry, and Thompson battling, and I believe Levi Fagerstein, sorry, has got past him there as Bruno Barros is going quite far at the moment. But no, now he pulls off, and now he goes into the wall, and that is de Barros out of the race. And unfortunately for him, that is not the debut he really wanted, as now Evan Byrne is set to come into the pits for his first pit stop of the race for McLaren. So it looks like they are going to go for the 3-stop. There's actually only 1 lap left of fuel, so they were cutting a bit fine there, McLaren. So good thing they picked in this lap, otherwise he might have run out of fuel. Anyway, let's see how quick this stop will be for Evan Byrne. And let's see how quick the stop will be for the McLaren pit crew, and it will be a 12.6 second stop there. So that's a good stop there from McLaren, or a relatively good stop, you could say, as they come out of the pits. Evan Byrne is going to drop a few places here. Where is he going to come out exactly? We shall see. And he comes out in 10th place or 11th place. No, in fact, I think 12th is it, or is it going to be 11th? That's not exactly the place that he wants to come out in. And Evan Byrne, and oh, he's lost his front wing, and Roland Moyton is out. So I believe those two must have had a collision. And Evan Byrne, that could be vital in the title race. That's going to work fantastically well for the 2 Red Bulls and for the 2 Ferraris as well. So what happened here? Byrne had just come out the pits. He was trying to overtake Moyton coming into the left-hander, and you could say maybe Moyton didn't think he was there, but unfortunately they've collided, and that is going to be, as I said, very, very crucial for the championship, as now Evan Byrne is going to have to go through the whole rest of the lap with a broken front wing. Dramatic in the championship once again. Let's have a look at the replay. So Byrne was on the inside, and Moyton, I think, just didn't really know he was there, to be honest. He just seemed to cut right in front of Byrne there, so I think that was kind of unfortunate. So he's going to have to go into the pits, and Lucas Levi is now going to try and attempt to overtake him, as now he does indeed just before the Singapore Sling. But that is going to be very, very important in the title race. Will Evan Byrne manage to get any points out of this race now? With that, he's certainly means that he's not going to get a podium. Is he even going to get any points? I'm not even sure about that, because that will probably affect him come the end of the race. But the team might fuel him. Well, they have fueled him for 1 more stop, so he'll only have to do, after changing his wing and tyres, have to do 1 more stop. It depends if the team decide to fuel him any more, so that he can go quite late on in the race. But we shall see. But for Evan Byrne, that is not exactly what he needed. He had a comfortable lead just a few races ago, and unfortunately, I mean, some people could say that he has bottled it, but I don't think he really has. I mean, I think he has been a bit unlucky, but unfortunately for Byrne, nothing seems to be going his way at the moment, as now Ricky Parkerstein goes past, as they go through the tunnel under the stadium, as next to the track, actually, on the right-hand side, just before going under the stand, is actually a football pitch on water. If you didn't know, as now Evan Byrne comes into the pits to change his front wing, as now Alex Southgate comes into the pits, and let's see how quick the stop will be for the Mercedes crew, and let's see how quick the stop will be for Alex Southgate. He's had a pretty good season so far. You could say he's shaded his teammates Sontag, although Sontag obviously got a podium last time out at Italy, so let's see how quick the stop will be for him. It's an 11.5 second stop, so it's relatively quick there from the Mercedes crew. So let's see where he will come out on track. And where will he come out? We're not sure. He's come out actually in 10th place. He's had to come out in this big battle here between the 2 Renaults and Robbie Inescu. And oh, there's a lock up there from, I believe that was Jay McKenzie, and it was. And now that's given a chance for Southgate to get past Roke, because he got held up behind McKenzie, and he takes P9 there. So unfortunately for McKenzie, he's kind of done his teammate over there. And now Southgate, who's on fresher tyres, you could say, gets past Roke, and now trying to get past McKenzie and Inescu. Florian Volker, I should say, comes out of the pits having done a 12.6 second stop. Where will he come out? Will he come out ahead of that train that's being started by Robert Inescu as he heads through turn 1? And it looks like he is going to get out in front, and indeed he does. So that's going to be important come the rest of the race. Now Joseph Willows comes in for his first pit stop of the Grand Prix, so he'll obviously be doing a 2-stop. So Byrne, I imagine he'll be on a 3-stop, but he probably would have been on a 2-stop had he not had that collision with Moichin. So he comes out on the track. Let's see where he will come out. Will he come out ahead of Volker? Interestingly, I'm not sure. But now Viggo Holst comes into the pits for Force India. Where will he come out on the track? And let's see how quick the stop will be from the Force India crew. Viggo Holst, who many people do think in the championship is underrated. And I suppose in a sense you could agree, he's performed quite well in Force India, which the car has been alright. It's not been the best of cars, but he's performed quite well, and he has got a podium so far this season, so that is certainly pretty impressive. So let's see where he comes out. He comes up behind Roke and McKenzie. Will he come out ahead of Ricky Parkrasane? We shall see. He's just come across the line. So I believe it's going to be quite close, but he does come out ahead of Ricky Parkrasane, so that could be important for the rest of the race. And now we are on board with George Roke, who's now on the inside as Ionescu runs wide coming into the final corner. That is going to give a chance for Roke to get past into P7, and he takes that advantage. And I believe that was Viggo Holst who's going past Roke's teammate, Jay McKenzie, behind him. And, oh, did the car just have a problem there? I'm not sure. I thought I saw something on the dashboard there of one of the cars. I'm not sure which. I thought I saw something, but I don't know if it was just me, but I saw a problem. I just barely saw something there, but anyway, we'll keep on going on. So here's the battle. Is now Viggo Holst now trying to make a move on Ionescu coming into the left-hander, and he's not going to quite make it stick. Ionescu defends, and Evan Byrne has spun again, and he's gone into the wall again, and he's lost his front wing, and now he's going to have to pit again. So what's happened here? So he's had a collision with Sean Grant, the fellow Irishman, coming into the Singapore sling, and you can see that was a bit of an optimistic move there by Evan Byrne, but now Sean Grant also going to have to pit for a new front wing as well. Let's see. I think maybe Grant just didn't give him a lot of room there. You can see he just bounces over the curb there, and he loses a bit of his front wing, and Byrne was okay until he started rejoining. He could have rejoined the other side of the curb on the right, but he decided not to do that, and unfortunately that has cost him dearly there, and now he's going to have to pit again, and if he has any chance of points, I think they're pretty much gone out the window now. But George Roke now comes into the pits, 0.8, so the cars are actually running quite tight on fuel, more than we've ever seen before so far this season. And Robert Ionescu is in the pits as well for Toro Rosso. So it's a 10.7 second stop per minute. That's a pretty good stop. There's the Lotus crew out. There's the Virgin crew out. As Michael Motch has to wait, I think, for a car to go past. I think he has to wait for Robert Ionescu to go past there. Sean Grant now comes to the pits to replace his front wing after that collision with Evan Byrne. So unfortunately, he is not going to be able to. Well, he is going to beat, I should say, his new teammate Bruno de Barros today, but obviously he is unfortunately retired due to that loose wheel he had just after coming through the final corner. And Sam Thompson is out the race, for Williams. And how is he retired? It looks like a mechanical failure by the looks of it. So he was running in P12, and let's see what happened to him as he comes through the right-hander, and he has a puncture. And a puncture has forced Sam Thompson's retirement, and he has to pull off straight away. Unfortunately, you can see it clearly going there. So it looks like on the rear of the car, possibly on the left rear, I think, by the looks of it. And that is Sam Thompson out of the race on lap 26. We haven't got halfway yet. We've had a few cars retire. You probably would have expected, as it's Singapore, a bit more. But he is out of the race. As now here is a battle for P3. It looks like this is between Miklos Gal, who now actually comes into the pits. Battle between, looks like, Volker Willows and Alex Southgate. And now Volker goes wide, coming into the final corner. And Joseph Willows is going to make the move stick. And yes, he does. And now Southgate can make the move as well, coming into turn. What is he going to do it? And yes, he does. Volker's been mugged there. And both Joseph Willows and Alex Southgate have got through there. And Viggo Holst is also right behind as well. Now the Lotus there, but he's obviously not involved in the fight. So Miklos Gal comes in for his final stop. 34, that's the fuel. So he will just make it to the end on that set of fuel and tyres. So let's see where he comes out on the track. So it looks like he'll probably come out just inside or outside of the points for the moment, as now they look like to be very, very close there between Volker and Zelensky. But let's have a look at what happened. So they were held up behind Gal, but then Gal decided to make a pit stop. And Volker, as he came through turn 22, and he went just a bit wide coming into 23, and he went over the curve. That gave Joseph Willis a chance, and that also gave Alex Southgate behind a chance as well. And he certainly took the advantage, and he took it very, very well indeed. And he took the advantage there. So Volker losing 2 places, that could be important. And Volker did try and get back at Southgate. There was nearly contact there, but they got away with it, fortunately. And now here is Volker, who's now trying to repass Southgate with Viggo Holst also right behind. So he needs to be careful here, Volker, that Holst doesn't follow him through and possibly overtake him. But Volker's on the inside, on down the pit straight as they head into turn 1. And Volker has made the move stick into the first corner. And now Viggo Holst is right behind Southgate. So Southgate's got another thing to deal with. Is now Viggo Holst on board with him. They're coming down the back straight. We're just about at halfway, or we are at halfway, I should say, of this race. Now Holst is going to try and make a move. Coming into the left-hander at the end of the straight. Is he going to do it through Raffles Boulevard? And Southgate goes a bit wide. And has he done it? It's still side by side, but Holst has completed the move. And he's now up into P5 for the moment. Good racing there. And good work there by Viggo Holst, the Danish driver. Making the move there on Alex Southgate as they head towards the Singapore Sling. Good move there by Viggo Holst. As we now look at Waze Kubo, who's set to come into the pits. He only had 0.5 left, so he was very tight on fuel, and that's 32 laps of fuel. So that is going to be very, very interesting indeed. If Kubo is going to make that, it's going to be very, very close indeed. So let's see if he does make it. He's on lap 33, 32 laps, so he needs to do probably a bit of fuel saving when it comes to the end of the race. But that is going to be very, very tight. This should be a fascinating race to watch as he will come out the pits. Looks like in P6, so behind Alex Southgate, but ahead of Ricky Parkinson, there's a big, obviously, gap between the top 5 or 6 and to the rest of the field. So let's see, there's a 14.8 second stop, so it's quite slow there from Kuba, but he comes out now 31.8, so he's getting rid of fuel already. So that is going to be very, very tight to the end. So that is going to be quite fascinating, I have to say, as there's Roke, who's just ahead of Mikolos Gal, and now Ricky Parkinson comes to the pits at 0.4, so everyone's really pushing their fuel limit at the moment, but I suppose it's no surprise really. I mean, Singapore is quite a tough track on tyres and fuel, and it's quite a difficult track in general due to the heat and the humidity, which is usually around 80 to 90%. So let's see where Parkinson comes out. He's going to come out quite low down the field, but there will be a few cars that will pit that are now ahead of him, so that he should be able to come out at least around about the top 10 as now James Willis at the moment leads the race. Now here we're on board with Jay McKenzie, who now goes past Robbie Inescu, who goes wide into the final corner once again. And now McKenzie took advantage of that, and it looks like he's overtaken Inescu to turn 1, and he does so. And now Inescu's got to look out for Evan Byrne, who's right behind him, who's going to try and see if he can salvage something from this race. He's in 12th place at the moment, so I don't know if he'll be able to salvage any points or not, but we shall see come the end of it. As now Alex Southgate comes into the pits. Let's see how quickly this stop will be for Mercedes. Let's see where Southgate will come out on track. And the stop will it be around 10 seconds, 10 to 12 seconds? It's actually not, it's quicker than that, it's 9.6, so good stop there from Mercedes. So where will he come out? Will he come out behind George Roke and that gaggle of cars that are around that lot? And no, he doesn't, he comes out behind Roke. So that's going to be interesting come the end of the race. And actually does come up behind Mikolos Gal, so that is not what Southgate needed at all. So he needs to get past those two as quickly as possible. As now Roke actually does come into the pit, so he needn't worry about that anymore. So Roke will be fueled to the end. He's got 24 laps of fuel, so he'll be comfortable enough to get to the end. So let's see how quick this stop will be from the Renault pit crew. 11.8 second stop, fairly slow, not too quick, but it's okay, you could say. But he comes out of the pits. 20 laps to go this race. It's been a fairly entertaining race so far, considering it is Singapore. Now Lucas Levi comes to the pits, the Singaporean driver, in front of his home crowd. Very few times you'll probably get to say that in real life. So that is very good for Lucas Levi in front of his home crowd. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get any points, it looks like, so far today, because unfortunately the pace in that Sauber just isn't particularly good. Let's see where he'll come on track. So at the moment, Joseph Willis is in second place, but Volker is in third, and Viggo Holst is just about holding on to these two, so that could be a very interesting battle. But now, actually, Joseph Willis is going to pit this lap, so as he comes through the chicane, through turns 20 and 21, he'll now dart into the pits, and now so does Viggo Holst. He gets into the pits as well. And let's see how quick the stop will be. So who will get out in front? Will Willow still get out in front of Holst or not? We shall see. This could be important come the end of the race. It looks like it's going to be another comfortable victory for James Willows at the moment, as far as we know. But we don't know what could happen come the end of this race. James Willows 23 laps, so he will be fueled to the end. Let's see where he will come on track. There's Roman Quag just going past there, who will come into the pits as well. Viggo Holst comes in, and he will come up behind Joseph Willows there. 11.6 seconds stop. And so will that battle continue on the track, or will Joseph Willows on fresher tyres manage to get away from Viggo Holst? We don't know that yet. And he comes out in P7 ahead of Jay McKenzie, who's only just gone across the line now, so there's a comfortable gap there. Florian Volker now comes in for his final stop. He'll be fueled to the end of the race. He'll be fueled to lap 65, but obviously there's only 61 laps. But this race will probably go around about, I reckon, the 2-hour limit. Just simply because of the fact that the race is very long, 61 laps, which many people think is a little bit over the top. But it'll certainly have his effect on the drivers. They'll probably lose a couple of kilos or so from this race. So let's see where Volker comes out. He comes out behind Michael Gal, so he'll probably have to overtake him before the end. And he does come up behind a Ferrari. And there is a virgin off, and that is Sean Grant who's gone off. And that looks to be that the Singapore Sling. I believe it might be, but that means that both virgins are now out of this race. That is very, very unfortunate there for Sean Grant. Let's see, was it a crash? And yes, it was. It was a battle with Ricky Farquharson for Starbucks. Let's see what happened, and it was into the Singapore Sling. So Farquharson was on the inside. Sean Grant tried defending, and there was contact there, and Farquharson loses his part of his front wing, so he's going to have to go into the pits for that. So any chance of a points finish for him is now gone. And you can see that was George Roke, who was right behind. Not sorry, George Roke. Jay McKenzie, I should say, was right behind there. There was contact there, and Farquharson loses his front wing. And McKenzie, and that was James Willers, just goes past there, but Sean Grant goes into the wall. You can say that was probably a bit too much defending there from Sean Grant there, as there's Wade Scooby, who's running in second place at the moment. As now here's a battle between, I think, fourth place between Mikhail Scow, Joseph Willers, and Florian Volker are also in this. This is going to be an interesting battle as they now head towards the Singapore Sling, coming around the left-hander. Will Kuba try and make a Willers, I should say, Joseph Willers try and make a move coming into the Singapore Sling, and he does. And he's going to make the move stick, and it's a very late move, and there was a contact. No, they've just about got away with that. What a move there by Joseph Willers. That is a move that very few people have managed to pull off so far this weekend, and he has managed to do it very, very well indeed. Fantastic move there by Joseph Willers, and now Volker is going to have to try and get past him as well. But he has done, as you can see, unseen by the cameras, and now, no, that's not him, sorry, that's a replay, I should say, of what just happened. But that was a great move there by Joseph Willers getting past Gal, move that we have not seen often this weekend. And let's have a look at what happened here. So, I was not expecting it. There was so nearly contact there. If he hadn't probably backed off or moved any further to the left, there would have been a collision there for sure. But now Alex Southgate is set to come through for his final stop of the race. So where will he come out on the track? He's gone quite late, but he'll have fresher tyres for the end to possibly gain a few positions. So let's see, he's down to fourth place already. He'll be down, I think, behind Gal, Volker and Willows for sure. He's down behind Holst, so he'll come up behind Gal. So will he drop any further down the field? Will be interesting to see. And the answer is, so at the moment he's ahead of Roke, but will Roke go past him on the straight? Will be interesting to see. I believe it was quite tight, as now here we are as a battle for second place. And is this for second place? I believe it is. And this is a battle between Florian Volker and Waze Kuber, I think, actually. No, it's not. It's Joseph Willers, I should say. And Florian Volker makes a move past Joseph Willers for third place. Great move there by Florian Volker. He's on a mission at the moment. Can he go and get second place from Kuber? It's 10.2 seconds, so it seems a bit far. But as you can see here, Volker has already caught up to Kuber. And you can see there's only 4 laps of fuel left, so Kuba is going to have to do some fuel saving. He might have to just let Volker go, but he goes wide anyway. And Volker's on the inside as they head into towards the first corner. And Volker is going to take second place, and now it is going to be a Red Bull 1-2. That is going to be crucial for the championship. Now here is George Roke, who's going to go, no, that's Jay McKenzie already going past Mikhail Scow, so George Roke has already got past Scow, and so is Southgate as well. So Mikhail Scow is struggling at the moment, and he might not make it on fuel as well. He's on 3.9. And we have 3 laps to go in this race. He's going to have to do a bit of fuel saving if he wants to get to the end. And he's not going to get any points out of this at the moment, so it's not worked out for Mikhail Scow. And James Willers has decided to come into the pits with just a lap to go, because he was not going to be able to make it. He only had 0.7 litres left. And so a dramatic end to the race. But James Willers comes in. He'll have a comfortable enough gap over Florian Volker in second place, I believe. We shall see, as where is Volker? And he's just actually coming under the sand, so he will still come out in front. 6.2, quick splash and dash. Just 4 laps of fuel that's put in his car, but that will be clearly enough. He just needed a quick splash and dash. Probably didn't even need to change tyres, but he comes out in first place still. As where is Volker actually? I want to see actually how close it was. Willers just coming in. Volker's now just coming down the front straight. But now James Willers comes in. He is still in the lead at the moment, so it looks like at the moment, James Willers is still going to lead this race. Now here's Wade Scooby. He's only got 1 litre of fuel left as they head towards the last lap. And Joseph Willers, his teammate, has caught up to him. He's now down to 0.9. He might as well let Joseph Willers go through if he wants to get something out of this race. Because at the moment, if he keeps battling with him, he's going to just waste more fuel. And he might not even make it to the end. And Mikhail Scow might not even make it to the end either. He's only got 1 litre. I don't think he'll make it. And he'll probably need to pit this lap. But he's certainly not going to get any points out of this race. But James Willers here, currently in the lead. He won the last 3 races in a row. He looked absolutely nowhere just a few races ago, and now he won the last 3. And now if he wins this race, unless he has any problems, it will be an OC record in the championship by winning 4 races in a row. It's been once again a comfortable victory for James Willis. Had he known how to make that pit stop and risked it, he would have won by at least 30 seconds, and that is, I think, the 3rd time in a row he's also won by that amount of margin. As he comes through the right-hander, he's got a 5.1 second gap over Volker in 2nd place, and now that has gone all the way up to 6.2, because obviously he's got those fresher tyres, so it will be a comfortable victory. Well, it's certainly, obviously the gap doesn't look that much, but it's certainly much more comfortable victory than the gap certainly suggests, as James Willis comes under the stadium as he heads towards the final chicane, coming through turn 20 and 21. And James Willis, as he's about to come around the final corner, he was nowhere in the title race. He was out of it, but he's won the last 3 races. But now as James Willis comes around the final corner, he takes his 4th consecutive victory in the 2011 season to put him right into title contention, as now Volker is set to come home and take a Red Bull 1-2, 1st and 2nd place for Red Bull. And now here's the battle for 3rd. Kuba, he's not got any fuel left. Is he going to make it? He's in 3rd place, but he's not made it. He's run out of fuel, and Willis has taken 3rd place, and Verholst has taken 4th, and Kuba's not going to make it to the line. He's gone into the wall, and he's out of the race. I can't believe it, and Kuba has run out of fuel right at the last corner. I can't believe this. His car's rolling towards the track, and he is going to not score any points. Sadly, it's going to take a P5, and that means that George Roke is going to take, I believe, P6. And there's Mocho coming yes, he'll take P6, and Jamie McKenzie will take P7. So who's actually going to take P8? I don't actually know who's going to take P8. And Gal's run out of fuel, and Gal has also run out of fuel, but I think we could see that coming. He, for some reason, didn't pit, even though he clearly wasn't going to make it. Roke comes home in 6th place. McKenzie comes home in 7th. And who's going to take that? Evan Byrne. Evan Byrne is going to crucially come home and take the final point. So after all that drama, he's going to take 1 point, and how crucial could that be in the title race? He comes home and takes 8th place. Roman Quagg is going to come home in 15th place. It's not been a good race for him, not been a good race at all for Lotus. They will want to get to Japan as soon as possible. There's Kuba's car being pushed away, so Robert Ionescu is set to take home 9th place with Ricky Valkrasane right behind him as they come through the final chicane. As Robert Ionescu comes through the final corner, he'll take 9th. He'll be disappointed. The pace of his Toro Rosso car just wasn't particularly there today. As he comes through in 9th, and Ricky Valkrasane is set to come home in 10th. It could have been points for him had he not had that collision with Sean Grant. As now here's Alan Wolf, who's going to come home in 11th place for Williams, and he comes across the line. In 12th place is going to be Lucas Levi in front of his home fans. At least he'll have some good support now that the race is over. But James Willis, your winner there, takes 4 races in a row. And now here's the full race results. 1 hour and 45 minutes that race was, with James Willis winning, Florian Volker 2nd, Joseph Willis 3rd, Viggo Holst 4th, Alex Southgate 5th, George Roke 6th, Jamie McKenzie 7th, Edinburgh completing the 10, with Robert Ionescu, Ricky Valkrasane, Alan Wolf and Lucas Levi in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, with Waze Kuba, Miguel Scal and Roman Quagg 1 lap down and 2 laps down respectively. Michael Motra obviously 2 laps down as well, so both Lotus 2 laps down, with Gal and Kuba obviously running out of fuel, with Grant, Thompson, Moitin, DeBarros, Carr and Sontag all retiring from this race. So Evan Byrne actually set the fastest lap of the race, so what could he have done had he not had that retirement, with Volker 2nd, Southgate 3rd, McKenzie 4th, Valkrasane 5th, James Willis 6th, Viggo Holst 7th, George Roke 8th, Kuba 9th, Joseph Willis 10th, Alan Wolf and 11th, Gal 12th, Ionescu 13th, Moitin 14th, Grant 15th, Levi 16th, Mocho Quagg, Thompson, DeBarros, Carr and Sontag. But what could it have been for Evan Byrne had he not had that collision? The pace certainly was there today. But anyway, here are the driver standings. So Florian Volker now has a 5-point lead over his teammate James Willows, who's now in turn 5 points ahead of Evan Byrne. Joseph Willows, who's just 6 points behind, he's still in the title race. Waze Kuba, with that retirement, is effectively out of the title race, I would say. Miguel Scal down in 6th, he is certainly out of it. Alex Southgate in 7th with 34, Viggo Holst 8th with 33, Sontag 9th with 24, with George Roke 10th with 19, McKenzie 11th with 18, Carr 12th with 13, Moitin 13th with 10, Robert Ionescu 14th with 8, Alan Wolf 15th with 5, Renjian 16th with 5, Valkrasane 15th with 5, Rowan Quagg 18th with 3, Grant and Levi 19th and 20th respectively on 22, Thompson, Quinlan, Mocho and DeBarros with no points. So in the constructor standings at the moment, Red Bull has a comfortable 34-point lead over Ferrari, who are just 2 points ahead of McLaren in the battle for second in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes are comfortably well behind them, 51 points behind them, with Force India just 15 points behind them. It could be a battle for 4th place on there. Renault just 7 points behind there. Not 7 points actually, 6 points behind I should say. So it could be a battle for 5th place. Well, it could be a battle in all categories, in the constructors and drivers. Sauber 9 points behind in 8th place. Williams with just 5 points in 9th. Lotus 10th with 3. Virgin 11th with 2. and that means obviously all teams have score points so far this season. Well, thank you very much for watching the highlights of the Singapore Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the racing a rating out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you for the next round of the series, the Japanese Grand Prix Round 15 at Suzuka. Thanks for watching, and see you there.